So welcome to the community update for the 26th of October, 2022. Thank you, Sari, for preparing the update. Thanks, Dan, for helping. And I'll sort of MC, but please feel free to have other people chime in. So today's agenda, we'll just do a little bit of a, just a little tiny retrospective on the marketplace being live, pretty exciting. Looking what's coming next as far as features and launches, because there's an awful lot that is still yet to come, coming into the fourth quarter this year. Little update on relayer operations, going over some of the stuff that's happening in the Commonwealth and the governance forum, and a quick report on regen market and liquidity. So without further ado, we'll just start cranking. So yeah, marketplace, woohoo! Will, Paul, have you guys gotten to go just play around with it at all?
Yes, I was able to get a couple credits from very nearby to where I live in Washington, which is kind of fun.
That's so cool. Yeah. I was pretty excited about how close some of the credits were to places. Like actually, I bought credits from a forest that I played in when I was a kid, which was crazy to me. So cool. Well, pretty excited about how this may parlay directly into some open team credits soon. Maybe at the end we'll get a little update from you guys around any work that you're doing on that. So couple just, I think Sari and Dan went through and just pulled some of the memos, the retirement memos that people had been writing as they made retirements. And I thought this was really cool. I just tweeted about this, but I think we're going to have to gamify memo beauty somehow. Like maybe we'll do go through and generate a list of all of the retirement memos every month and, do some sort of contest or vote and then maybe match people's retirement or something. I don't know. I think we could do some cool stuff.
The ecosystem team is all over this. We're absolutely in love with just I don't think we really expected the retirement notes to be as cute as they were. And so we want to encourage people to really put a lot of thought into those. We're thinking about how to use it and get people more into it, aware
Awesome.
of that as a possibility.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to hearing more about what you all are thinking. It's pretty exciting. Just a quick overview of some of the press related to the marketplace launch and City Forest. There was a really sweet little NPR morning edition piece on City Forest credits and Regen Network, which is cool. I got lots of text messages from my family who all listen to NPR, which is great. There's a really thoughtful write-up by Impact Alpha, and that particular journalist is a former Wall Street Journal journalist, and he actually came down to Medellin and was with us for like the better part of 4 days while we were down there. And it was very interesting because I had this whole long conversation with him, and he was like, I can't find a scoop, right? I can't find a scoop on you guys. And I was kind of like, that's good, right? He was like, actually, yes, that's good. I think he had maybe expected there to be a little bit more of a scam energy or something. And he was like, yeah, there's not. This is just like a bunch of dedicated, talented people working really hard to do something that's complex and hard and do it right. So it's a pretty nice article and very proud that there was no scoop. So it's pretty cool. There's a cool market watch and which is pretty exciting, and this Web3 for Good article. So people can go check those things out. Maybe I'll do a little tweet thread or later so that it's just easy to grab. Anybody else want to add anything on the media stuff? Cool. All right, moving along. So up next, The next big thing is coming up quick, which is going to be the completion of the Toucan Bridge, which is very exciting. So we're going to save those stranded nature carbon tons that are languishing over there on Polygon and bring them over to Osmosis and Cosmos. There's a bunch of demand for these to run the Cosmos Zero program, which is going to be offsetting blockchains across the Cosmos ecosystem. Folks remember there was some on-chain proposals and community engagement with the Osmosis community to have the Osmosis community buy and match in CT with Regen. And there's a bunch of stuff that's about to get reinvigorated and recentered into the conversation. So look forward to that over the coming weeks. It's gonna be big. And the launch of the technology, the successive sort of engagement around offsetting. So expect a lot of activity in the Cosmos ecosystem around NCT and the Regen marketplace, and specifically the basket module. So this is going to be pretty big and pretty exciting. I don't know, Ryan, if you want to share anything about the bridge launch, not to put you on the spot, but do you want to just share?
Yeah,
Sure.
no worries. I mean, we're wrapping up the bridge service at the moment. There's just like a couple minor dev tasks left, and then the rest is ops and testing. So we're feeling pretty strong on that side, and that's the actual service that will be communicating with the two chains. And then each team, Toucan and Regen, are both building out UIs for bridging assets to the other chain. And yeah, we're really excited. Things are moving forward. There are discussions around deadlines and timelines happening. Mid-November is an optimistic timeline at the moment, but end of the year is definitely before the end of the year for sure. But yeah, I just got off a call on the channel, so I don't know. I don't have much more to add. Things are moving along, and we're really happy to be working with Toucan.
Well, I was getting all excited that this is going to happen in 2 weeks. Are you crashing my excitement?
I didn't mean to. I mean, it's mostly just around UIs, needs, and things like that. The bridge service itself is going to be ready here soon, and so it's just a question of like UIs, because Toucan just recently also just built a bridge with Cello, and so they're reusing their user interface to both work with Cello and then switch over to a Cosmos chain. There's some new potential technical hurdles, and so there's just a couple open questions. So I think mid-November is still possible.
I just want to use it personally. and I think there's a bunch of other like I think getting thing anyway. We'll talk about this, but maybe we leave them behind or something. I don't know.
No, but we'll have a more tight deadline and update probably for the next community call.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Super helpful. And maybe next community call as well. I forgot to invite Corey on here, but I wanted to get an update on just like the details of the NCT Regen pool. I know he's been thinking about that, but I think, maybe we'll, in 2 weeks, we'll have a little bit more detail around that. And if folks are interested, you can go on to Commonwealth on both Osmosis and Regen and just type in NCT liquidity and it'll pop right up, and just catch yourself. I would just advise everybody catch yourself back up with that governance process and proposal. We're going to be kicking all of this into gear. There was a lag while we were creating a secure bridge service, which took a little bit longer than we were hoping or expecting, because we kind of had to do it ourselves instead of being able to engage Axelar. There's a bunch of other bridge updates. I think in 2 weeks, we should maybe do a full overview of all of the different bridge initiatives that are taking place, conversations with Solana, conversations with Cello. There's a lot of stuff moving that I'd actually like to daylight for everybody and just give everybody the overview. But for now, just sort of mentioning it all and sharing that things are happening, and we're really, this sort of interchain carbon story is really important for us to solidify kind of in Q4 this year. So it's all happening. Cool. Well, I think I'm going to pass this over. If I'm not mistaken, maybe this is for you, Dan, to share a little bit more about relayer stuff.
Yeah, sure. I've been mentioning this in the last few calls. Some folks have actually reached out and have set up relayers, but obviously IBC is such a big deal that it's really central to the entire ecosystem. So to have strong, solid connections between all of the chains that we interact with is something that's always kind of top of mind for me and the rest of the network ops team. So if you are interested in setting up an IBC relayer, please go ahead and do so. I've actually, or just reach out to me and I can help you and guide you to different resources that you need to be able to do this. I've sent out a uh, a questionnaire, I should say, um, that actually allows you to say whether or not you're running a relayer, and that kind of ties into what the foundation is doing with incentives and that sort of thing. But if you do set up a relayer, please fill out the questionnaire, or let me know so we know that you're actually relaying, and we can try to come up with some kind of incentivization for that. And I
Folks,
think Will might speak to the incentivization at some point if we have time.
Yeah, I think he's going to hop on here. Just quick note, Sari, maybe that you could fix this. I think the link to the specific Commonwealth conversation about validator comp this isn't the right link. This is going to the vote for the regen allow list, just to note.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat here. Yeah, so I guess basically just to hop in for a moment. Essentially, we have this delegation program for this 30 million regen pool, and right now we have a number of factors, but we'd love to incentivize relaying. There are a number of other things we could incentivize if we want to, both kind of technical and non-technical. So just that Commonwealth thread that's in the chat there lays out some of those possibilities. And I'd love to get into a discussion of essentially sort of thresholds. Like, we don't need every validator to be providing all of these different resources, archive node, public RPC, state sync, snapshot, block explorer. So what are we kind of targeting? Like even on one, say we're talking about relayers between osmosis and regen. How many do we want? We probably don't need 50, but it's probably good to have more than one. So just want to have a place to discuss kind of what are we targeting, and then we can find ways to incentivize from there.
Thanks, Will. Any questions or comments from any of the validators or community members who are on the call about this sort of proposal or request for comments, kind of? And I'll bring back up, I think should be the here we go. Just to show folks where this is at. Cool. Well, if folks feel free to chat, observations, questions, comments, and of course, please go engage with the Commonwealth Forum, share your thoughts. It's really, I think, helpful for the foundation to get feedback. I think they're trying to run this as sort of like a request for comment to really tailor the approach for incentives to the wisdom of the community, and specifically like the needs of validators and just kind of the wisdom for this minimum viable community infrastructure to keep everything running. So Will, thanks for taking time to write that up, and I definitely encourage and implore people to go engage and share some of your thinking there.
Thanks. And I just renamed it, the title, Request for Comment, Prioritizing Compensation.
Cool.
Yeah. That way it's a little more clear in the title.
So just larger governance updates, just a reminder, of course, we sort of spoke to this already, but there is a vote to add Regen to the allow list. I'm particularly interested in the ability that this unlocks for the Regen community pool to start to be used to buy eco credits, and potentially the community to get engaged with eco credit liquidity provision and other pieces, where the community is actually kind of like able to engage at the protocol level with this stuff. So just that's why I'm interested in it specifically. It also opens up some user challenges and arbitrage challenges due to the way that the marketplace is currently structured. We don't have sort of a dynamic price feed oracle system yet. So it also opens up some challenges, but just think those through and make your vote about what you think is the right sort of approach to this. Of course, it doesn't force people to list in Regen. It just gives that option for people to be selling credits denominated in Regen instead of USDC or euro, which are the two current currencies that are allowed in the Regen marketplace. Cool. So just as always, just ending with a quick liquidity market report there, so you can see where we're at. And with that, I'll stop the share, and we've got about 5 minutes for discussion. I see Jan is on and Germund. Nice to see you guys. And there's a lot moving, of course, that we didn't cover. So if there's any of that people would like to share, any updates or comments about other things that are moving that didn't make it in, please feel free to chime in. Questions, comments about what you did see, please feel free to chime in, and reflections on the call as well. I will note that we've been discussing potentially moving this to be a monthly call. There's a lot of stuff moving, so a monthly 30-minute call is maybe too little, but also in terms of rhythm and sort of like building support, that's just something we've been talking about. We've also been talking about moving the venue of this call out of Zoom, potentially to Twitter Spaces, potentially to Discord. We've never really solidified because we want to be able to record this, publish it on YouTube in a durable way, and be able to do slideshows and kind of create that artifact of the community report and the processes that are taking place. And Zoom is a very easy way to do that. But just to note, we have been talking about, a forum that's easier for people that, I think there's sort of like a set of friction every time to get into the Zoom call. So just sort of thinking of easy ways to have these calls. So if people have feedback or ideas, we're all ears.
I will note that I think this was accidental, but now the osmosis call alternates weeks with this call. So that's convenient for the time being, that both switched to an alternating week schedule, and they just happen to not conflict. So that's a
lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. Cool. Any other reflections or comments, or shall we give everybody back a couple minutes today?
I just want to say one thing, and it's more just like a request. I don't know if it's from the community or whoever, but just something that I've noticed just interacting with all of the different chains and submitting proposals and that kind of a thing. Sure, I'm a developer and validator, and I'm okay with the CLI. However, it would be really cool if somebody out there in the ecosystem, whether it's one of our fantastic community members or somebody in another community, writes a graphical user interface for supporting all of the different types of regen proposals. So I know that on Commonwealth, you can do a couple of different types of proposals there. However, we have like allow list proposals, and our process is a little bit different. So maybe it's a challenge to our community. If you want to create a graphical user interface, I think that would be terrific, and it would be a giant hit. I think everybody would use it. So just as a I don't know if it's relevant, but I just wanted to get that off my chest.
For sure. And I know that there are sort of GUIs coming for a lot of the registry governance stuff that's in the pipeline. And we should sort of circle up on that and see what's in the pipeline for interfaces and governance. I also know that the groups module and the gov module, there are some amount of interfaces that are coming, although I think the Interchain Foundation cut the budget for all of that really important work for whatever reason. I don't really know why. But yeah, it's super important. We're way under tooled for ease of governance engagement. I call out to DAO. They've got great interfaces and sort of like tooling there, and I think we're sort of lagging behind in the native SDK side of things. Yes, Guillermo, there is a group module UI that's being built, although for I think it's not getting supported. It's like a bunch of it's gotten built and there was limited support, and I think the Interchain Foundation pulled the broader support for it, and I'm not sure why or what the next steps are for that, but I think there is going to be sort of like at least a minimum generic UI that our team built. We'll see. And yeah, if you all want to dig in to that, that's great. And Ryan, do you want to just share, do you have a link to any of the GitHub repo or resources on the group UI?
I can get in touch with David Daniel, who's our dev on the interfaces team that's been primarily working on the group module UI. And yeah, as Gregory mentioned, it is something that we've been working on with Interchain Foundation collaboratively. I think there's some interest of making it more embedded within the Cosmos Hub kind of interface. So there's potential of reusing that and creating it a similar interface in the Regen side of things. But we're collaborating on the core functionality and user interface for a group module at the moment. And I can reach out to David Daniel, who's our dev that's leading that work at the moment.
Cool. Yeah, that'd be great. We definitely would like to help with that.
Cool.
And Paul, yes, I mean, I think the vision here is that we have a clear UI in which new credit classes can be proposed, adopted by registry governance, and then it auto-populates that credit class into the, so it's visible then in sort of like the project pages and the registry system. Yeah, so there needs to be because there is sort of like a whole process. And I've been thinking about this, like there's a bit of a flow of the process to bring a credit class in. And I think the registry team's been doing a lot of thinking and work on this. I think we need to do a little bit better job revealing what's been worked on. And so I'm going to sort of be circling back with the registry team and the interfaces team so that they can share some of the mock-ups and the existing UI and just sort of reveal that so that people can see and potentially contribute to that, right? Because there's quite a bit of work done there. I think we just need to sort of like get everybody up to speed about what does exist and what doesn't yet, what's been mocked up, what actually has been coded. So Sari, I think maybe putting it on our list to reach out and have Sam probably do a little bit of an overview in 2 weeks so that we can get get more up to speed. Maybe Sam and David Daniel, just sort of like the state of registry UI and the state of group UI so that we get like, just do a deep dive into what's coming, what exists, all of that so that our community can engage with those tools and helping us build them out. Cool. All right, we just ran past the time with that really important little deep dive into the group module and UI stuff. So we'll commit to having some a little bit of a report back and getting everybody more details in 2 weeks about group module and registry UI work that's taking place. I think there's a common interest around that. In the meantime, go chime in on the governance forum, go vote on the allow list stuff, and yeah, and congratulations, everybody. We now have a marketplace. MVP, time to
Yay.
iterate, and lots of improvement, lots of room for improvement, but it's pretty exciting. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
all.
you.
So.